Podcast City Network. This is Brad Chandler, and you're listening to The Brad Chandler Show.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Brad Chandler Show. Make sure to check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/Brad Chandler Show. Also, make sure to check out my new website, bradchandlershow.com. I have a lot of stuff going on there. Right now, it looks a little bland, but I'm trying. You'll find a lot of information there to hook up with other bands, listen to other bands, links to their Twitter profiles, and how to listen to them. So today's episode, I have a guitarist of One Ton Tommy Gun. And are you the bassist of Concrete Ties? I can't keep up with your projects, man. You're like, since I've known you, you've been in like 100 different bands. You're the bassist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the guitarist of One Ton Tommy Gun and the bassist of Concrete Ties, Josh Venn. How are we doing today?
What's up, brother? I'm good. How you doing?
I am living the dream, man. I fucking miss shows so much.
Tell me about it, bro.
Yeah, I can only imagine how you're reacting to this whole bullshit. So I had Scotty on a couple weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about One Ton. We'll try and keep it more towards Concrete Ties and whatnot. Obviously, we're going to talk about One Ton, though. So
we'll go with that.
What in the fuck have you been up to this past year?
Oh, man. I mean, going from playing shows literally almost every weekend to having no shows. And even at first having no practices, and it even ended a couple bands that I was in. It was rough, dude. And then not long after it happened, I lost my job because of all this stuff. Yeah. So I haven't been doing anything. I've been playing a lot of music. I've been writing a lot of stuff. Just psyched to get back and doing it. I mean, as you know, played a couple outdoor shows, like private shows.
Right.
During all that stuff, but that was it. 2 shows since all this started.
That's crazy, man. And the fact that you were able to actually play a couple shows, I had a couple bands on from across the pond. I had a band called Mardo on, or Ward Howe on a few episodes ago, and they're from the UK, and they're completely locked down. Like, they haven't even been able to practice.
Yeah, that's
like it's been over a year since they practiced, and I could just tell that they're going crazy, and they're not allowed to leave their place where they live unless they're going out to get essentials or they're working.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. Honestly, I understand, man. Everybody's got the right to respond to this however they want and deal with it however they want. For me, the risk is worth it, you know. Just to be
some people have that same mentality as well, and sooner or later, it's going to get to the point where we're all back to hopefully playing shows, going to shows, and whatnot. Because man, this past year, if I've learned anything, it's how much I actually miss shows.
Yeah.
And not even as just a musician myself. It's like as a fan, it's like, yeah, what am I doing this? Like, oh, I can't do anything because there's nothing fucking going on. Like nowadays, like my girlfriend and I, we literally like look at each other like, oh, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I want to take over the world. It's literally, we have we don't know what we're doing, and it sucks. But enough of COVID bullshit. Let's talk a little bit about music, dude. When I first met you, I found out that you was it the bassist of All That Remains?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found out that you were the bassist of All That Remains at one point. Huh?
2 separate times, actually. After the original bassist, oh, I feel bad. I'm brain farting his name. But after he left, I joined, and I was in the band for like a year or something like that. And me and Phil, who were really good, close, actually kind of had a falling out, and I left. And then Matt Deese took my place. And then when he went to CKY, they asked me to come back, and I did. And then that was short-lived. I only played like a couple dozen shows or something like that. And then I left, and Jeannie took my place.
So it's so weird because I actually know Matt. I used to work with him. And
yeah, he's good.
He moved to Tennessee, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been trying to reach out to him to see if he'd like to come on and talk, but he hasn't gotten back to me. But yeah, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It's like because you were like down to earth. You aren't some like asshole rock star type person. Oh, I was in All That Remains. Fuck off.
Anyway, you know what I mean?
Dude, I thought it was cool. Meeting one of the ex-members of All That Remains. I liked All That Remains. I'm not so much a fan anymore. But you're also in one of my favorite bands now, One Ton Tommy Gun, and I know that you and Scotty have a history of being in bands together. What other bands were you in with him?
Well, we were in Flatline together, which, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased because I was in the band, but are one of the greatest bands that never were from the area. The original members, some of the original members, Mike Martin,
Okay.
And then John Maggard, Slow, who obviously went to Unearth, which is how I joined Flatline, and then Scotty, and then Jay Birch and Mike Rodriguez. And Slow actually got asked to be in Blood Has Been Shed, and he said, no, I'm in the band Flatline, but I know this guy Josh, and that's how I ended up playing with them.
Jesus.
And then Slow got an offer from Unearth, and he was smart and realized, oh yeah, this is a good fucking offer. And he said yes. So I got together with him at his parents' package store and learned all the stuff on bass for Flatline before he even told them. And then one day we went to practice together, and he said, guys, I'm sorry, I'm leaving the band. I'm going to play bass for Unearth, but this is Josh, and he already knows the whole set. And they were like,
crazy.
Yeah, they were like, oh, well, that really sucks, but let's, and that was it. I just, I was in the band. And
so you were in Blood Has Been Shed as well?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't. So you played with Howard?
Yeah, 3 separate times.
No fucking way, dude.
I played bass with them starting when I was 19 because Slow gave me the, and these guys were so much older than me. They were like in their like early 30s, mid 30s, and I'm 19 years old. And I was a huge fan already. So it was like surreal. So I played bass for them for a while. And this is before Justin Foley joined the band. John was actually playing drums.
Okay.
And then John left and Justin came in on drums. And then John wanted to come back one day, and they were going to have him play bass. And they were like, hey, man, no offense, John's an original member. And I was like, yeah, dude, totally no big deal. And then, I don't know, a year later, something like that, I ran into Howard at the movie theater in Enfield. And he was like, he was like, hey, man, fucking John left the band. We need a bassist again. You want to come back? And I was like, yes, I do. So I came back. I'm playing bass for him for a while. And then one day, Corey and I had like a disagreement, and I just never showed up again. And then Blood Has Been Shed played Flatline's reunion show at the Fat Cat in Springfield. And Corey sat down with me and was like, hey, man, we're about to go to Europe and all this stuff, and we need a second guitar player. How would you feel about playing second guitar for us? And I was like, dude, you've never seen me play guitar. Why would you ask me to play guitar? And he's like, I seen you pick up guitar a couple times. I know you can do it. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So then I played
That's
guitar for
fucking
them.
crazy.
When I did the Revolver tour with God Forbid, Walls of Jericho, A Life Once Lost, Full Blown Chaos, and a whole bunch of shows. I played two Hellfests with them, both playing bass. So this is before I came back and played guitar. So I actually played bass for him, left, came back, played bass for him, left, came back, played guitar for him, and then pretty much did that until the end. Because at that point, like, you know, Howard and Justin had gone to Killswitch, and it was just, you know,
Yeah, that's
why the fuck are you going to do Blood's Been Shed?
so fucking weird, dude. Like, I'm actually looking at the wiki right now, and it doesn't say anything about you playing bass for them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, wiki's only as good as whoever, you know, updates it.
Here's
anyways.
the thing, man. If you look up me and All That Remains, or me and Blood's Been Shed, like All That Remains, they had the power of the press. So the second time I left, they were like, Josh was a drug addict, which was true at the time. I'm 15 years clean now.
Good to hear.
And he played one show with the band and he was kicked out. I was not kicked out. I left on my own accord, like a dick. Didn't say anything. Just took off after the first show of the Sounds of the Underground 05 with fucking Lamb of God and Strapping Young Lad and Blar. And
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Biggest mistake of my life.
You're kicking yourself in the ass for that one.
Yeah, but I got to live with it. But they had the power of the press. So they said, oh, he's just some dude. He played one show. I played one show on that tour. But there's endless videos that I have and pictures and shit. And people know. They've seen, dude. I played with that band for fucking hundreds of shows, dude. But unfortunately, like I said, they had the power of the press. So that kind of destroyed my reputation. And it really sucked, dude. And Blood Has Been Shed. You know, I never played on any of the albums. I came the first time right when Novella came out and left before Spirals, came back after Spirals came out. So I never recorded on them. And I never recorded on any All That Remains. I came after the first album, Behind Silence and Solitude, left before This Darkened Heart, wrote half of the title track of that on guitar, and then came back after that album. So I didn't record with either of those bands, but I wrote music for All That Remains, which I get no credit for. Nobody knows about it. So it's like, I got to be honest, dude, it's been tough for a long, long time living knowing that I wrote half a song on that second album. Nobody knows or cares. I don't even get credit. I don't care about money, dude. I just want recognition for what I actually did. For what I actually did. That's it. But
totally
yeah,
understandable.
So if you go online, you can find videos of me playing with Blood Has Been Shed and, like, you know, pictures. And I have hours of tour footage personally from All That Remains and Blood Has Been Shed. But like I said, I'm not on any albums, and Blood Has Been Shed, they were just kind of using me for my talent. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but I was just this young guy. I was so much younger than them. I wasn't part of their crew, and All That Remains, like, they're just very bitter, or Phil was very bitter against me because, dude, when I was playing with them, I was really young, man. I was really young. I was 20 years old when I first started playing with All That Remains. I'm 40 years old now.
Yeah.
You know? And I was really immature. I had problems, man. I had drug addictions. I was an alcoholic. I was a heroin addict. And this is while I was playing, all the times when I was playing with Blood Has Been Shed and All That Remains. So I was going through horrible, horrible stuff. The year after I left All That Remains, after Sounds of the Underground 2005, was the worst year of my life. 2006, I actually got clean on June 6th of 2006. 666 is the anniversary of me getting clean from heroin. It's just a coincidence.
Coincidental. I remember exactly where I was on 666 myself. Yeah. Well, that's good. You know, being clean since 2006. I mean, that's not an easy task, man. You know, I've lost friends to heroin and other drugs, and I'm glad that you're still around, and I'm glad that I know you. So, so All That Remains, we can stop, you know, talking about that if you'd like. We'll talk about.
It doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me. It's my life, you know.
Well, we'll get back to All That Remains a little later, but we'll talk about Ollie, which rest in peace. Actually, let's talk about Ollie right now. Obviously, being a member of All That Remains, Ollie had had a huge impact on a lot of people in the Massachusetts area, not only Massachusetts but throughout the world. The guy was one fucking.
So awesome.
He was such a fucking talented guitarist, musician,
And really
and
awesome human being.
yeah. I didn't personally know him, so I couldn't go that route. But that's awesome to hear. I know somebody who Brad Nemo, I think. Brad Nemo, I think that's how you pronounce his name, was really good friends with Ollie, and they used to hang out and all this stuff. And I remember hearing stories about one of my buddies worked at Denny's in Enfield, and Brad had told him that, oh, my best friend is Ollie, and my friend was like, bullshit, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Brad like pops in. There's fucking Ollie with like his long ass hair and shit, just sitting at the bench, and my buddy's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I didn't believe you, you know? And it's so weird that you got all these people that are from like the Western Mass scene. You had him, you had Brian from Shadows Fall. All these guys used to fucking come down to Enfield.
Yeah. Dude, John Donates. I've known him since I was like 14 years old, man. Now he's been the guitarist for Anthrax. It's so surreal. Like the area we're from and the scene that we're from. People don't really realize, man. I mean, just how impactful the Western Mass scene has been. Like, we took over the fucking world of metal.
Yeah, and there's absolutely like, yeah, Shadows Fall, All That Remains, Killswitch Engage. I know I'm missing a couple others, but it's like
Acacia Strain.
Yeah, fucking the Acacia Strain. I mean, you literally had all these fucking bands that were from Massachusetts that were just like the biggest fucking thing in the world. You know, some of the bands are still some of the biggest bands in the world. And
Red Chord band, the Red Chord from Massachusetts, Unearthed from Massachusetts.
I fucking followed the Red Chord for, I want to say, I went and saw them 5 shows in like a little over a week. I followed them up and down the East Coast. They were on tour with Gwar, and I hung out with Guy. And one of the last shows that I went to, I went up to him and I was like, dude, I've seen you like the past like 4 or 5 times. And I told him, I was like, I was supposed to see you with the Black Dahlia murder down at Toad's place, but there was a fucking snowstorm and you guys had to cancel. So he secretly signed something for me and put down Boo Snow and then handed it to me. And he's one of the coolest. It's hard to believe that he's a cop though.
Dude, I know. Dude, you want to hear something? First of all, they played that Sounds of the Underground too. So the last show I played with All That Remains was with Red Chord too. And we did an autograph signing with them at some mall in Massachusetts. And it was surreal. Like there's this giant line all the way down the mall and shit. I'm like, holy fuck. But so we're sitting behind the table, we're waiting to sign, we're doing our signing first, and then they're doing their signing second. Because at the time the Red Chord was bigger than All That Remains.
Okay.
And Guy wasn't there yet. I hadn't seen Guy. And I'm sitting behind the table, and all of a sudden Guy walks in. And I mean, bear in mind, you know, this is 2005 or whatever. So, you know, I don't know what his personal life is, but he comes walking in with 2 girls, one on each arm. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Wonder why he was showing up late.
Yeah. Yeah, he showed up in style, man.
Yeah, the last times I saw them, they played Mayhem Fest, and I think Under Oath was playing or something like that, and he called them Wonderloaf. I've always, like, every time he was, there was one song, I'll never forget it. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a part where like he hits the drummer would hit the china like at the bell. Not the China, but like the ride at the bell. And fucking Guy goes, it was a live version too. He goes, penis. And I'm just like, dude, it's like he would just say some of the funniest shit and like the most awkward times, like give it up for Wonderloaf. It's like, who? He'd be like, give it up for fucking Dunkin' Donuts. He had this
on stage.
Oh, dude. I I went to Killswitch Engage. It was Killswitch Engage, As I Lay Dying, and I think it was Mike D's brother's band, younger brother's band. They were doing the live DVD shoot.
Mm-hmm.
The live DVD shoot. This World Ablaze, I think it was called.
Hey, I'm on that DVD, by the way.
I am too.
Nice.
I am crowd surfing.
I'm on the DVD wearing a white t-shirt playing Upstairs Palladium with Blood Has Been Shed. When Howard's talking about Blood Has Been Shed, they cut to a clip real quick, and I'm playing guitar at the time.
I was crowd surfing during this end, the end of Heartache. I remember. So my buddy and I, we were trying to. There was some girl trying to hang out with my friend, and my friend wanted to like come up with an excuse why we couldn't hang out with her. And we went online. We found Killswitch Engage. It was a $5 show. It was a fucking $5 show. And I was
with a fat cat for $5.
Well, this was at the Palladium, you know?
Yeah. That's
so, and they were shooting a video. And I went online. I bought the fucking tickets. We went up there. I remember it was, I was wearing a long sleeve shirt, and I don't remember what time of year it was, but I remember I was sweating my balls off. And the only way that I could get cooled off was to fucking get on top of everybody. And it was like near the end of the show. And I was just like, fuck, dude, I hate crowd surfing because I don't have anybody to hold my fucking wallet. I wear glasses. I don't want to get punched in the balls. I don't want to get dropped. So at exactly 4 minutes and 20 seconds into that song, you see me just going like this, like crowd surfing. And then at one point, you see my face like this. I'll show you the video. It's fucking hilarious. You'll see it and you'll be like, that is you.
I think I vaguely remember that exact part of the video, that exact portion that you're talking about.
I'll show you it. But enough of me and fucking all that stuff. But dude, Blood Has Been Shed, as All That Remains. What other bands like Flatline, One Ton, Concrete Ties? You were in Rat Smasher as well. What other bands?
Well, I did a 40 to 45 day full U.S. tour with Within the Ruins as their bass player.
Jesus Christ.
That's
another fucking band, dude. I used to work with was it their drummers?
Kevin.
It was his roommate, Nate Barrett, I think.
I'm not sure. I remember his roommate, but I don't remember his name or anything.
It was a chef. But yeah, I got into them. He came up to me. He was like, "Oh, you're into metal, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, you should check out this band." And I was just like, "Okay." Real good fucking band.
I don't know if nobody knows this, but Tim Gorgon, the guy who sang for him for like 10 years after the original singer, I'm the one that got him in the band because we played in a band called She Is a Liar from New York City together. And we were on a minor, an indie label, and we did a lot of touring. And we actually did a couple full U.S. tours Within the Ruins. So, we're friends with them and everything. And, their bass player, who's a good dude, a friend of mine, he left, and they asked me to try out. And I was like, sure. And before the 45-day U.S. tour, there was like literally a month. I had a month to learn the first whole 2 albums. I don't know if you remember the first album or Creature, but that shit is really technical.
Yeah, their stuff isn't fucking simple.
Yeah, and it's even a riff that seems like it repeats. There's like little subtle things that aren't repetitive, so nothing repeats pretty much. I learned like 70 minutes of their music in a month.
Jesus Christ.
To do that tour. And before we did when this was first starting, they're looking for a singer to replace John, I think was his name. And I'm like, dude, my singer from, you guys know him, Tim. I'm like, he's fucking awesome, dude. Try him. And they were like, they didn't really know if they wanted to do it. And I'm like, dude, you will not regret it. He will blow you away. He was like my brother, dude. We're in a band together. I love the dude. And they tried him out, and he ended up being the singer. And then he was a singer for 10 years. He got a career out of it, and that's great. The thing that really sucks about this story is, I didn't know that Scott Lee was managing them at the time. I had no idea. And he had me in Flatline and All That Remains. So Scott hated me. And I understand. I was a problem kid.
Scotty's he's a big time guy in the Massachusetts scene.
Yes. But so since then we've been cool, but whatever. Either way, I know he hated me. And, my whole reputation was, the thing with All That Remains and Blood Has Been Shed, and everybody knew me as just like a gun for hire type guy that could. So I worked my ass off to learn all this stuff in time and play this tour. And by the time we started the tour, now I joined the band before Tim and had to work a little bit harder than him. He's learning the vocals, not the bass. So by the time the tour starts, they'd already announced him. He's already on the website and everything. And they hadn't announced me and hadn't made me a full member of the band. And I kept on talking to them like, what's the deal with this? That's not really right, guys. What's going on? Like, just be honest with me, be straight up with me. And according to them, they were trying out me and trying out Mike Boujan, who ended up joining and playing bass after me, who was the guitar player from She Is a Liar, also my friend. None of this I was not aware of any of this.
Jesus.
So, and by the end of the tour, Mike still hadn't learned the whole set. But either way, so the whole time I'm like, I keep on asking him during the tour, like, what's going on, dude? What's going on? And we go to Victory Records in Chicago. And when we go in, they meet Tim and the execs, and they're shaking his hand. They're like, oh, awesome to meet you. And they're like, oh, and this is Josh. And they're like, oh, hey, what's up? And I was like, dude, what the fuck? So basically the whole time, I don't know if they were just using me for that tour because they knew I could learn the stuff in time and play it, or if they really were considering between me and Mike. But basically, I felt like I was being used. And then the last day of the tour in New York, after like 45 days, Mike shows up to the show because it's right in the area. And we're all standing there, and he starts saying to Joe, he's like, oh, hey, I started learning the song with the butt. And like literally stopped in the middle of the sentence, and they were all wide-eyed like, shit, dude. And right at that moment, I just knew. And I walked up to Tim, who wasn't there, and I'm like, hey, man, just so you know, if you guys want to have Mike play bass this show, that's fine with me. I don't care. And he's like, really? You won't mind? And as soon as he said that, I was just so angry. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. I was so fucking angry, dude. I went and sat on their cooler in the trailer with all their beer. And anytime one of them had the balls to actually come up to me and be like, can I get one of the beers? I'd be like, no, it's my beer now. And I didn't play that. I didn't play that show. When they dropped me off, I asked them to pay me. I actually, and no one knows this, no one in the world knows this, I went in the money box while they were all inside playing because they had promised to pay me for doing this tour. And now I know I felt like I had been totally used and lied to, and just, I felt so horrible, dude. So horrible. And like Tim and Mike, like I considered them brothers. We played together in She Is a Liar for over 2 years and all these tours together. I was fucking heartbroken. I opened up the money box and I took like $1,000 and I had it for like 5 minutes and I put it back. I put back every dollar and put it back under the seat. Didn't take anything. And then when they dropped me off at my mom's house in Enfield, Connecticut, like, 4 a.m. or whatever, I'm getting out and I say to Joe, so are you going to pay me for this tour like you said you were? And he's like, nah, dude, we can't afford it. And once again, I was just so fucking angry. I couldn't say anything, nothing. So I never got paid. And then I went back to their practice base in Westfield to pick up one of my last things. And I went up to Joe. He's sitting there playing guitar. And I'm like, get up, dude, walk outside. And he's like, what? I was like, we're fighting right now. Get up and walk outside. And he was like, I'm not going to fight you. And I was just like, all right, dude, you're a bitch. Like, yeah, I'm not saying I was right. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. But, dude, like, they fucking broke my heart, dude. I felt like nobody gives a fuck about me. I'm just some failed fucking musician that could have been someone and wasn't. And I'm just good to use for stuff like, oh, who can learn 70 minutes of this really technical music in a month and do this tour? Oh, Josh can. So Living the Ruins really hurt me, dude. Really fucking broke my heart, man.
That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear.
Oh, it's okay, man. Shit happens, but like, so Tim, and then and the statute of limitations is up. I took a crowbar to Tim's fucking car while they were on tour once. I went there with a crowbar to attack all of them, and they weren't there. They were on tour, so I took it to Tim's car.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's right either, dude. I'm not encouraging violence or destroying people's property, but Like what they did to me, dude, like really fucking hurt me, like really fucking bad, dude. So
yeah, I
like,
could definitely imagine.
so I could have had a career with them, but I didn't because of that. I could have had a career with All That Remains, but I didn't because I fucked it up. I could have had a career with Blood Has Been Shed, but it, fizzled out. So, and then Flatlined also got an offer from Metal Blade, but then that band fizzled out before.
What happened with Flatlined?
Well, we played New England Metal Fest one year, and there was a bunch of labels that were obviously already there: Metal Blade, Prosthetic, and Century Media. All these labels were looking at us, dude. And Scott Lee's managing us. We played the set, killed it. Scott Lee and Lee Urbano bring me out to eat at Lee's Brothers for sushi, and they're like, dude, Prosthetic Metal Blade wants to sign you guys. I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking awesome, And at the time, I had just started playing bass with All That Remains for the first time because Mike Martin was in it. That's the only reason I did it, because I wanted to keep playing with Mike, and Mike was playing guitar for him. And I was still, doing some Blood Has Been Shed stuff. So I was playing Blood Has Been Shed and All That Remains. And at the time, Mike was playing in All That Remains, and he was filling in on guitar for Unearth for some tours. And Mike's teaching guitar player stuff. And I'm teaching bass player stuff. And if a bass player works out, I'll be second guitar. And if guitar player works out, I'll stay on bass. And both of us are teaching drummer stuff because our drummer didn't want to tour and our other guitarist didn't want to tour. So we're desperately trying to keep this thing together. And one day me and Mike talked and we were like, dude, why are we working so hard to do this? We're both in All That Remains, which is already on that exact label. And it's just, we really, really wanted to keep it together and do something with that. But we just decided it just wasn't worth the time. It was just too hard, and it seemed like all the odds were stacked against us. So it's like I've flirted with being pretty much a rock star so many times that it's just like sometimes I think about it, I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm gonna be that dude that could have been.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Man.
No, I know you've learned to accept it and whatnot, but I mean, like, even still, like, I remember hearing your story with All That Remains. We were talking outside of a show one time, and you told me about it, and I was just like, holy shit, man, like, that sucked. Because like I said, I knew Matt. I knew his story. He says the same thing. He's like, he ended up leaving All That Remains to join CKY, they were already like at here, and they were turning that peak and going down, where All That Remains was going like this. He's like, if I could go back, I would have stayed with All That Remains.
That was hindsight, man.
Yeah, exactly. Hindsight's 2020 now, know. But it is what it is. But what like, now you're in Concrete Ties. Now you're in One Ton Tommy Gun. I absolutely love One Ton Tommy Gun, and one of my most special memories that I've had with One Ton was the day that you guys played my show. I put on one show. I asked, there was two bands. That was Cherry Street. There was two bands I had in mind, like, right away, and it was Values and One Ton. And the reason for this is because, well, I was friends with Mikey and Jordan.
Because Values is fucking awesome. That's why.
Well, yeah, Values is fucking awesome, but also because I was friends with Mikey, I was friends with Jordan, and then I wanted you guys on as well. And then I was talking to Scott, and he was like, well, what other bands are going to be on there? I was like, well, I reached out to Cyperna, and he was like, if Cyperna does it, we will fucking do it. And so Cyperna fucking turned around, and they were like, yeah, we'll do it. Then I got the Green Invaders to fucking play.
Nice.
And then
those guys too, man.
And then who was it? An Unction and Brill contacted me, and they were like, oh, dude, is there a way that we could get on this show? And I was, because their drummer at the time, I think he was like 19, and I was like, I can't do it because of the fact that you're 19. And then I talked to Cherry Street about it. They were like, as long as he's accompanied by his parent, blah 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 blah, he can come in, but he can't. He can play, and he has to leave. And I'm like, so I told him, I was like, straight up, this is exactly what you can do. You can play the show, but you can't stay. And so they played. And then after I got the entire show, after I got the confirmation from everybody, the guys from Left Hand Backwards contacted me, and they were like, because I was playing bass for them, they were like, wait a minute, you fucking got One Ton Tommy Gun to play and you didn't put us on? I was like, nah, dude, I don't want to play the show that I'm putting on. And they were like, well, what the fuck, Brad? Like, we really want to play with One Ton, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, fuck it, fine. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to be first or second because I'm not going to do the show and fucking play and all this shit. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. I fucking hate playing and having to be in charge of a show because I mean it was the only show I had ever put on, but like I had been a part of a show before where a member of the band put it on, and it's also your duty to help out with this stuff, and it's like, fuck, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, it's a headache for sure, man. I actually used to book shows back in the day. I had my little bookings company. I called it Blunt Bookings. And the first show I ever put on was with Shadows Fall. I had them as a headliner. I paid them $200 to headline Games and Lanes in Agawam when that was still there.
Jesus Christ. There's so many like bands that had played like these small places like Fat Cats. You know, I'd never gone to Fat Cats. By the time I heard of Fat Cats, it was already like nothing was going on there, like all the bands that
legendary time, man,
like all the big bands, like, Killswitch, Shadows Fall, the fucking All the Remains, all these bands had already played there and they're already on other labels. And it's just crazy. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing something like this, is because I get to find all these fucking amazing bands around the world that nobody else knows, like I had a guy on Monday, which will actually, for the audio people, it will be a couple episodes ago. He was from Australia, or he's from Australia. I had him on, and he is the drummer, lead vocalist of the band. And it's a thrash band called Idle Ruin. And they're so fucking good. And I found them on Bandcamp. And when I went to go purchase their music, I went to go buy the CD. And like the music was $5, but the CD was $5. To get it shipped was $25 fucking dollars. I was like, there's no way I'm paying $25 fucking dollars for this to get shipped. So like what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect all these people. Like I had Alex on, photographers, people who do merchandise, people who just want to like find bands or whatever, I'm just trying to connect these people all together. And so far it seems to be like it's helping me out because it's keeping my ass busy. But so you had One Ton, you have Concrete Ties. What other projects are you? Because I'm sure those aren't the only things you're working on right now, or are they?
No, of course not. Never. I have to stay busy, man. If I can't jam at least 2 or 3 times a week, then I'm not happy. I got a new hardcore band. We're making our debut next month, actually. We're called Capo Kong. CAPO space KONG. Capo Kong. We're a new Connecticut hardcore band. That's when I got the PRS with the custom War Pig pickup in for. I'm psyched about it, dude. Yep. I'm real psyched about it. I'm psyched for people to hear it. I feel like it's an improved version of Rat Smasher.
So who's in this band?
Well, I play lead guitar, and
Okay.
I'll actually be doing solos, like full on Kerry King solos and shit. I'm using a floating bridge, so dive bombs, all that shit.
Wow.
Matt Monroe is singing. So
what the fuck?
So we're gonna have the scariest, most intimidating, craziest frontman in the history of music.
The guy's like 7 feet tall, man.
Dude, wait! I'm telling you,
he still got that fucking beast beard.
Yes, he does.
Jesus Christ, man.
So he's singing. Chris Hubrick is from who used to play drums for Chokeout, is playing drums, and Chaz is playing rhythm guitar. And
Jesus Christ.
And apparently the bass player curse from Rat Smasher, where we had like 6 different bass players, we're trying to X that out by being super picky about who we allow to play bass, because we've already had a couple of people that are good people that are more than willing to do it, that are excellent bass players, but like we want somebody that fits in every way, as in not only are they a good player that's committed and a good dude, but we want somebody that's like they're into that type of music. Like we had one person that we've been talking about a lot having do it, but our one gripe with it is like, dude, he's not into hardcore. Like he's not like I'm not a hardcore dude. Like I just like all heavy music or whatever. I'm actually considered like a metal dude, I would think. But
I love hardcore, but if you go through like most of the music that I own, it's definitely you're gonna have like the death metal, the thrash metal, the deathcore. You're not really gonna have the hardcore stuff, and a lot of people look at me and they're like, how can you listen to that shit? Like you can't understand what they're saying. And it's like, fuck off.
Yeah, if you don't understand it, it's not your thing, whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, dude, I'm a hardcore dude and a metal dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm both. So I'm both. I'm neither. You know what I mean? But
right,
like,
you don't want the label.
Yeah, I don't want the. I mean, I have Connecticut hardcore tattooed on my knuckles. So obviously, I'm into hardcore. I like hardcore. I was in Blood and Shed, so. Obviously, I'm a fucking hardcore dude. I play in 2 hardcore bands right now. I've been in multiple hardcore bands. But yeah, like I said, we just want a dude that at least has that partial hardcore background like I do, Whereas like Chaz is a straight up hardcore dude. Chris is a straight up hardcore dude. Matt is a straight up hardcore. Those dudes are straight.
That's just fucking crazy.
That too, yeah.
I'm actually really happy that I haven't been on his bad side, because some of the stories that I've heard from him is just like, fuck, dude. And I know like you've told me stories. I have my old bassist who grew up with Matt has told me stories about Matt, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, I really don't want to be on that guy's fucking bad side. And
dude, I've seen Matt beat up an entire bar. Like an entire
if it wasn't for the fact that I've met Matt, I probably wouldn't believe you. But because I've met Matt, I can fucking see it.
Yeah. Matt's the type of dude that a big tough dudes meet and they're like, I wouldn't want to fight that guy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's an amateur boxer and shit. Like he actually knows how to fight on top of being a monster. Who's crazy.
Yeah. Like I said, dude, he's like 7 feet fucking tall. So when is that show?
I think it's
put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's online under like the Proper Spirit page or whatever, because it's Chaz's show that he's putting on, and it's the same. It's outdoor at the Outlaw Motorcycle Clubhouse in Enfield.
Okay.
I think it's Saturday, April 24th, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, that's fine.
It's definitely soon, and I'm psyched, dude. I just can't wait, dude. Those are the only 2 shows I played since the quarantine. Were 2 outdoor shows there. Once with Rat Smasher, once with Concrete Ties. Both times, dude, and I have not felt this feeling. I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe ever. Both shows, I was terrified, and the only place in the world that I have 100% confidence and I'm never terrified is on stage, because that's just where I'm comfortable. And that's where I let all the demons out. But those 2 shows, because it's so unprecedented to, against my will, stop playing shows for so long, I was freaking terrified. It felt so strange.
Yeah. I'm sure it did. And sooner or later, like I said, sooner or later, we'll get back to like having shows. Obviously, this summer, I think they're saying that they're going to allow venues and stuff to start getting a percentage or whatever. Definitely, I'm with you, dude. I can't wait. And the only thing that sucks in for this whole thing is like, yeah, bands want to get out and play and whatnot, but the thing that sucks right now is like the fluctuation of the prices of like tickets. So you got the secondary markets and whatnot. Me myself, I'm a huge baseball fan, and I heard that they were going to allow like 12% people into Fenway Park this year, and I was like, all right, I'll go look at tickets and whatnot. Dude, they have tickets on sale right now for $500 for bleachers, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll stay home. Home. Fuck this. I just hope that something like that doesn't happen with the music scene. Josh, it's been an absolute blast talking to you, dude. As always, I love talking to you. We're actually going to listen to a song called South Shore by your band Concrete Ties. If you hold on, we'll play this song, and then you and I can talk a little bit after the song. All right?
Sure. Sounds good, bro.
All right. So to everybody out there, here is South Shore by Concrete Ties.
Something inside me shaking, like a white flag drawn toward. I can't recall when anything you said parallel your own. Don't let your fears define the road that you chose. Relentless, you tried to find some kind of fake forgiveness. You couldn't ever seem to find it. Don't let me show you the way. Don't stop and think that maybe you gonna be different. We're heading to the South Shore, where everything's always fine. Let us trace by ostensible purpose. Oblivion, but far from broken. Now the roads have changed, we're so high. We're bringing you back to where you took us before this life is gone. You're the reason the light is gone. So take it to your fucking grave. The memories manifest themselves of when times are gone with lower wings. Now that you have abandoned everything, there's nothing there but dust left behind. Go! With the end, only you will hear your screams when the vultures tear you apart. Now you're led astray by my soul's purpose. Oblivion, you're not far from broken. Now the road has never changed, with neither am I. What's a place so high?